The Lone Ranger sold his wardrobe. The Lone Ranger sold his bad dog. Well, you saw him, and you can't hardly know, 'cause times change, I know. On some days, he's more than humble. On some days, he's cold and mad, mad as hell. Well, you saw him, and you can't hardly know. It's so strange. Well, I know. Those lakes of golden water, those lakes of gold are all running out. Well, you saw him, and you can't hardly know. It's so strange. Well, I know. Joy, joy, joy. Work, work, work harder, sure as the hours. Joy, joy, joy. Work, work, work harder, you say. On some days, he's more than humble. On some days, he's cold and mad, mad as hell. Well, you saw him, and you can't hardly know. It's so strange. Well, I know. Those lakes of golden water, those lakes of gold are all running out. Well, you saw him, and you can't hardly know. It's so strange. Well, I know. Joy, joy, joy. Work, work, work harder, sure as the hours. Joy, joy, joy. Work, work, work harder, you say. Joy, joy, joy. Work, work, work harder, sure as the hour. Joy, joy, joy. Work, work, work harder, you say.
I'm running back to make it. Every day's a brilliant episode on the Glover Show.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What up, Twitch? What up, Cosmic? What up, Larry? What up, Otto? What up, bots? What up, lurkers? What up, Stampy? What up, tiny people in my chatterino? It's your boy. I'm back with another one. Back with another one. Little morning snack attack. Little morning snackalicious. Little morning snackopotamus. Gonna wake up every day and be the best clockmaker on Mars. Here you go, buddy. Now you can run away. You got what you wanted. Now you can go seek other things that you want. Gonna wake up every day. What up, old lobster? I'm sure that if Stampy understood what was happening, that he would render his judgment. There's only one room for one orange prince in this world. Alrighty. Exclamation point mushroom. Shout out to the people who have already installed the game. I appreciate you. And that's going to be running for the next 29, 28, somewhere in there days. Just got to get to levels. Level 20 is the first one, so on and so forth. Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. But in the meantime, let's talk about some news. Talk about some AI related news. Talk about artificial intelligence in disability care, unlocking agency. Disability and disabled folks are one of them there places that a lot of folk their shit breaks down. I watched somebody that as soon as they were espousing their political take, and as soon as the issue of disability came up, it was deer in the headlights. It was deer in the headlights. They were unable to rationalize their worldview, their perception, their prescriptions with the idea that there are people in the world with disability and that they matter. It was a fascinating thing to watch. If you have a coherent what up, Michael? let's say yes, it is it's super idle, right? That's what I can say about it. It's super idle. Um, for your little dude, your little mushroom dude, you click the lamp, right? Like that's basically um your thing, and clicking the lamp gets you fresh gear, and then you either sell that gear or you equip that gear, and just keep doing that. What up, Textillion? But it doesn't ask a lot of you. That's what I can say. It doesn't ask a lot of you. And it's cute. I love I love my little mushroom fighter, and he's whipping shit. Just doing his thing. So, anyways, artificial intelligence in disability care, unlocking agency. Practical steps to harness AI as a path to inclusive empowerment in disability care. More than 1 billion people globally, nearly 1 in 6 individuals around the world, live with a disability. And again, this is why, whatever your philosophy is, you have to take people with disability into account, because if you don't, you're ignoring 1 in 6 individuals, more or less. That's unacceptable, right? You can't just do that. Jesus Christ, dude. Anyways, many face daily challenges that affect their mobility, communication, and independence. Meanwhile, caregivers, often family members, experience high levels of emotional and physical stress when 1 in 2 individuals reporting significant burnout. These realities highlight the acute need for innovative solutions that not only support individuals with disabilities but also ease the burden on caregivers. Nice, Otto. Nice. Unless you're Abercrombie and Fitch, they don't like anyone ugly, and their CEO is the ugliest fuck ever. I'll take your word for it. Um, it sounds right. The these reality that we did that. Artificial intelligence has been hyped as a game changer for business. It could also become a precious tool for empowering caregivers and the people in their care. AI might be exciting for its ability to do more of the same with less effort and time, but its real potential shines when it is tailored, trained, tested, and targeted to bring out the best in people, opening space for people to unfold their potential, especially those who had been hampered in doing so before. When designed with social good as the prime motivation, AI becomes a tool for human empowerment, illustrating what we call pro-social AI. The strength of AI lies in its ability to tailor care. Unlike traditional approaches that offer generic solutions, AI adapts to everyone's needs. For example, algorithms can analyze health data from wearables and patient records 24/7 to develop tailored care plans that suit an individual's specific conditions, whether related to mobility, cognition, or health. Picture a person with limited mobility who relies on an AI powered exoskeleton or smart wheelchair. These devices can learn and adapt to the user's movement patterns, offering real time adjustments to enhance mobility and freedom. This kind of help does not just matter for physical movement, it's about allowing people to navigate the world on their own terms. For caregivers, this means less hands on management of daily activities, easing the mental and emotional load. It's one of many examples to illustrate how pro social AI can serve to address lingering real world targeted solutions that directly improve the quality of life for individuals with disabilities and their caregivers. It's a win win. Those needing care gain independence, while caregivers are better supported. Communication is central to human identity, yet for millions with speech impairments due to conditions like Lou Gehrig's disease or cerebral palsy, these basic functions become uh, this basic function becomes a struggle. AI is changing that reality. Take Google's Project Relate, for example. This AI driven app learns to interpret the unique speech patterns of individuals with speech impairments, converting their words into understandable speech. Leaving aside matters of practical nature, imagine the emotional liberation when someone, after years of being misunderstood, can communicate clearly with family, friends, and even colleagues. Beyond merely addressing communication, this restores dignity and reinforces the power of human connection. Designed with a clear focus on improving lives, this AI powered tool is yet another example of how AI, when developed with the right intent, can create a win 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 for individuals, their support networks, and the broader community. Physical disabilities are one part of the equation. Another one is emotional and mental health challenges, which are common, particularly among individuals facing isolation or chronic health conditions. AI driven virtual therapists and mental health apps offer a lifeline for people experiencing anxiety, depression, or loneliness. Without the ambition to replace existing human relationships, these systems can be designed to recognize early signs of emotional distress by monitoring behavior and speech patterns and trigger alerts to allow for early intervention when necessary. For example, AI might detect that a user's tone or word choice has changed over time, signaling a potential emotional decline. It can then suggest coping strategies or alert a caregiver. This ability to provide real time, proactive emotional support empowers individuals to manage their mental health while alleviating the emotional burden placed on caregivers. If it is designed with a holistic understanding of human beings and the social and physical environment they are navigating, AI can contribute to a new age of care. However, we cannot expect AI systems to operate with a holistic logic if the humans who design them stick to a narrow definition and monolateral disciplinary approach. The AI of the future is as good slash bad as the humans that design them today. At its core, AI offers individuals with disabilities and the opportunity from the top. At its core, AI offers individuals with disabilities the opportunity to take control of their lives. Beyond helping them manage their health, AI can enable people to become their own advocates and agents of their own lives. Whether it's navigating complex social service systems or managing legal documents, AI driven assistance can simplify these processes. With AI handling logistical tasks like appointment reminders and financial planning, individuals can focus on living, not just surviving. The shift from dependency to autonomy exemplifies AI's ability to empower. Imagine a person who, once reliant on a caregiver for every decision, now has the tools to manage their own day to day matters. AI can not only help individuals address their immediate needs, but also give them the freedom to proactively influence their own futures. AI isn't just about convenience, it can restore agency to those who miss it most. In short, reading from Michael here, in short, disability is neither rare nor unlikely. Roughly 9 out of 10 people will experience a temporary disabling episode, and 1 in 4 will face a long term work limiting condition. Prudent financial and legal planning is the only way to mitigate the substantial risks and costs that come with these life events. True. Um, at one point in time, I had to have shoulder surgery, and between the surgery and the rehab, um, it was months, right, before I was able to do anything with this side of my body, right, and to go from having two hands, right, and I've spoken, when doing construction, but like many tasks, having two hands is not enough hands, right? Like having that third hand is, to hold the work while you manipulate the work with the other two hands. But then you take that down to one, and it shows, that limiting factor that can affect an otherwise relatively healthy person. All of us have that potential to have a at least temporary uh disability, and should absolutely be taking those kind of things into consideration when we're talking about what our plans are for the future and what we would like to see in the world. If we don't take those things under consideration, then we are doing the same thing that the people that we claim are our ideological opponents slash enemies are doing. That the future only belongs to the able bodied, who are able at all times, and so on and so forth. And if that's your philosophy, you can fuck right off. The potential of AI in disability care is maximized when it operates within a seamless hybrid ecosystem. In the coming years, individuals with disabilities will increasingly use multiple assistive devices, such as smart glasses, smart prosthetics, and smart communication tools. Morning, Sean. I got you. But I hope it's short. I hope it's short enough, homie. Each tool pushes the border of independence a bit further, be it at home or at work. But imagine if these tools, which can be difficult to manage due to their sophistication, operate in a seamless, integrated way that is tailored to be end user friendly. AI may not only power each tool, but also serve as an intermediary, integrating these devices, allowing them to communicate with each other and respond in a 360-degree way to the user's needs, reducing the cognitive load while increasing the quality of life. An example of this kind of thing is just the reduction in the need for the user to craft prompts, to be a prompt engineer, right? The goal, like the video we watched yesterday where Mustafa Suleiman and Matt Wolf were talking, um, the goal there is to be able to use plain language. Exactly, Textillion. Is to use plain language, right? Not to have to craft every single detail, um, but using a combination um of like tailoring the AI to understand the individual, um, and the individual to be clear in their request, right? To actually think about what it is you want to talk about. They talk about how AI is lowering the like the cognitive ability of people who use AI or over rely on AI or any of that kind of stuff. And I honestly, if you take a step back, put down your ego, and actually address the issues at hand, it requires more I don't want to say more. It requires cognitive ability to use the things properly, because what you find is that when you get poor results, you've asked the question wrong, right? So you have to think about what it is that you're actually trying to say, what it is that you're actually trying to ask for. Again, the monkey's paw, right? Like, you need to be clear. What is it that you actually want here? What is it that you're actually, what outcome is it that you desire? I went through, what up, Fire Resist? So I had, so this was my prompt, right? That Gemini created. What up, Ghost? To take this show, right? All the links that we're going to cover today on this show, and convert them into a format that's good for Substack. So then I could post it to Substack. Got little blurbs with the links, right? So either you can, if you came in late and you want to read something, or you want to look at the article again, because this is all about that kind of thing. What up, Minnie? That it's there for you, or you can share it with others, or what have you, right? Facilitating the dispersal in knowledge is the fundamental. But there were some flaws, right? Like, it was, every date was Sunday, April 6th, 2025, as opposed to giving me the current date, right? And so this is a matter of, like, I wasn't asking the question right? Like, my prompt was wrong. So we went around and around, and now I have a new prompt. And so far, this one works, right? This one seems to meet all my needs. And it's a process of learning how to ask for the things that you actually want. What is it that you're asking for, and how do you ask it clearly? What up, drummer, or dojo, or whatever? Your prompt wasn't wrong. AI isn't I, as you say. I rely on AI because it's the future, and one day everyone will be using it. We have two choices: embrace it and grow with the technology, or fall behind and become dependent on those who do. Ultimate power, make it so. Yes, right, and like, and that is where I come in on the thing. Fire Resist is like, this is happening. You can not want it to happen as much as you want, but it's happening. And like, one of the points of contention that Minnie has with my discussion on the subject, Minnie is in at least the last time we talked about it, Minnie, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, was that Minnie is of the camp of, we need to defeat capitalism, and then we can use AI for the good of the people. And my contention with that is that, okay, let's say that is the case. What is the timeline for defeating capitalism? Where are we on that timeline? Because taking a step back and removing myself from the equation and just observing what's happening, the AI is coming every day. Every day, more and more advanced capabilities, more and more tools, more and more everything with the AI. Do you think that we are going to overcome capitalism prior to, AI achieving its final form, whatever that is, kind of thing? And I don't see that. So I just look at it is like, we need to use the tools. We need to learn to use the tools because the future is coming. And it's not going to not come because, we don't think that the capitalists are playing fair or whatever. Right? The world is changing, baby. This is why I, along with other disabled individuals, Abby, you can't hit the hand when it's touching the mouse. This is why I, along with other disabled individuals, frequently advocate for a disability first approach in infrastructure, education, and more. Universal design benefits everyone. A world where full independence, a world that fully implements universal design is more accessible for all, including those who may not require specialized education equipment or additional time. Exactly. Like, anyone can use the ramp. You know what I mean? Anyone can use the ramp. Not everyone can use the stairs. My problem is I don't have a grand strategy for it, whereas your approach has practical grand strategy. Well, I appreciate that, right? Like, I don't mind that it's happening. What I find irritating, though, is that AI now seems to produce too many vacuous platitudes and the safest responses by design. I just don't think that that's how progress is made. You have to be confidently wrong, and AI just is too safe. That's an interesting take, right? There are arguments of that nature that, like there are too many guardrails on the AI, but I don't know that that's true in the aggregate, but because when you include all the open source models that you can, more tailor adjust to your needs, you can reduce that. But that's not saying that I don't disagree, or that I don't agree. I'm sorry. I think that what and we talked about this before, the general mode of people training their AI chatbots is provide an answer at all costs. And there, at the very least, needs to be a switch that I can turn that says, tell me that you're wrong. And like I would in this prompt, because that's what it was doing, right? That's what was happening here sometimes, is when it ran into an article that okay, this one has it. Here. Will AI kill the search engine? The BBC explores the potential disruption AI poses to traditional search engines like Google, blah, 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 blah. Right? What was happening here is that some interaction between Gemini and the URL, which actually links to the article about the action figures, it was going to the BBC, and it was just like almost like it was searching for AI in the search engine and coming up with a BBC article about AI and giving me a response. What I wanted was what it did here, where it says unable to access or verify content for URL, TechCrunch, yada yada, that, right? This is what I want. This is it telling me it doesn't know. And eventually, we did get to the point where it did that, unable to verify for Fox Business, unable to verify for BBC. Tell me you don't know, and then I can work off that. You're telling me that you do know, then you're providing me with wrong information. And while that has a place, right? Hallucinations, such as they are, have a place in creative endeavors. they don't have as strong a place in being accurate, right? In providing accurate information. So there is a balance between those two things, and we need to find that granular control. And I believe that it already exists within the tools. You just have to do a little more effort on the front end. Is it not a fact the creation and advance of AI itself is totally reliant on capitalism? No. No. It's difficult to separate the advances as they currently exist because the environment is capitalism, but there's nothing about it that requires capitalism to be there. The only thing required for continued AI innovation is um production and innovation, right? Like you just and we innovate all the time. Again, we innovate for free. So I had a thought last night. AI needs power. Humans create electricity. What if we become the batteries for this thing? What if we become the batteries for this thing? Under that model, that's how AI could extend capitalism. You're talking about the Matrix. Human beings are very inefficient at creating electricity, creating heat. That entire thing of the Matrix was more of a metaphor and less a practical scientific actual use. It's not going to happen. Not how that works. Surely if they feel or see capitalism being under threat, Jeff Mark, the twat in the Michael Myers mask, the other wankers turn the servers off. They can't turn the servers off. That's the key. They have to win. That's the thing. I don't expect any of these dipshits to do anything other than what they are driven to do, right? They need to win. They need AGI. They need the best AI. They need the AGI or the AI that can self improve. They need this. They need that. They need to win. And we use that to our own benefit. We expect them to behave as they are rather than expecting some sort of magical transition where they are going to like just do righteous things with their, billions of dollars. We expect them to behave as billionaires. We expect them to behave as capitalists. And under those terms, what are they going to do? They are going to try to win. They are going to try to make the best AI that they can. And that AI will inevitably, due to the inherent contradictions that exist within artificial intelligence as it relates to capitalism, they will undermine their own system. They can't turn the servers off because then they lose. I want an AI speculative mode, I guess. Guardrails are important, but guardrails can lead to dogma. We need more catma. Fair. I don't disagree, homie. What up, Nick? You're more than welcome to use the descriptions that are already available in the Discord that's helpful or overused. Thank you, Michael. Let's be honest, a lot of people hallucinate these oh my god. I just saw there was one article I was looking at this morning. Oh, I can't remember what it was, but it was something that was the same kind of thing. It's like, well, AI does this, and it's like, fuck, dude, people do that like literally all the time. Even Grok doesn't agree with most of the right wing checkmarks. It really don't. It really don't. Deep learning was invented at a university. Most things are. We're not a great power source if we're alive. Yes. I'm not sure how good a power source we are when we're dead either. I like your rose tinted spectacles. That's your biases leaking into that statement. However, what would happen to the development advance of AI if there was a worldwide recession now? That's still capitalism. That's the problem, Cosmic. You're not asking me a question where like what would AI what would happen to AI development if there was, a switch of worldwide socioeconomic, political governance to something like socialism or something like feudalism or something like mercantilism or any of these existing systems that we have either dabbled in or what have you. What you're asking me is what would happen to the development and advance of AI if there was capitalism? Well, that's what we're doing. The recession is part of capitalism. It's the continued expansion and contraction of the market. In in ways like we've talked about with the AI models, where someone puts out some big ass, like cutting edge model, and then someone else, will use that model to make a distilled model, and it's that expansion and compression. That's what capitalism does, for different reasons, but it expands as people take risks with their money and other people's money and what have you. And then the recession is the point in time where people scrape their chips off the table. The losers leave, the winners take the chips, and then the next round of the game begins, and they begin to expand and they begin to take risks and so on and so forth. It's just part of capitalism. That's the way that capitalism works. It's not a bug, it's a goddamn feature. You're right, man. I smoked too much weed and hallucinated the Matrix. More Catma, less pants. Fair. The reason I ask these questions is because in the news right now, there are stories of major cancellation of chip fab developments in USA and data centers in the USA because of the. I get it. There's also a story about how maybe Donald Trump will scale back the tariffs with China because some people talk to him and they're like, "Hey, you're gonna fuck up the whole thing. You're gonna fuck up the whole bag for everybody." And Trump was like, "Okay," right? He just wants to win, right? He just wants to win. If you can provide him a path that indicates that he won while at the same time doing the complete opposite of what he's been doing, then you've got your path, right? He's on Truth Social talking, and Vladimir, please, please, we need to end the war, please. This isn't helping. And it's like, bro, you not understand? You not understand what's going on? No, you don't. You really don't. If you can, this is ugly observation, but in reality, Trump has ruined confidence in the U.S. as a harbinger of advancement and development for investment and capital. He's done a tremendous amount of damage to that confidence. Absolutely. What up, Law Dog? Fewer pants would be a reduction in the number of pants. Less pants would be a reduction in the pants themselves. So shorts would be less pants. Thanks. Just bust up the joint, sir. Machine learning unlocks millions of safer CRISPR enzymes for gene editing. Machine learning unlocks millions of safer CRISPR enzymes for gene editing. Millions. Machine learning. Feel me. Genome editing has advanced at a rapid pace with promising results for treating genetic conditions, but there is always room for improvement. A new paper by investigators from Mass General Brigham published in Nature, showcases the power of scalable protein engineering combined with the machine learning to boost progress in the field of gene and cell therapy. In their study, authors developed a machine learning algorithm known as HAMLA that can predict the properties of about 64 million genome editing enzymes. The work could help reduce off target effects and improve editing safety, enhance editing efficiency, and enable researchers to predict customized enzymes for new therapeutic targets. Their results are published in Nature. Our study is a first step in dramatically expanding our repertoire of effective and safe CRISPR Cas9 enzymes. In our manuscript, we demonstrate the utility of these PAMLA predicted enzymes to precisely edit disease causing sequences in primary human cells and in mice. Building on these findings, we are excited to have these tools utilized by the community and also apply this framework to other properties and enzymes in the genome editing repertoire. CRISPR Cas9 enzymes can be used to edit genes at locations throughout the genomes, but there are limitations to this technology. Traditional CRISPR Cas9 enzymes can have off-target effects, cleaving or otherwise modifying DNA at unintended sites in the genome. This newly published study aims to improve this by using machine learning to better predict and tailor enzymes to hit their targets with greater specificity. The approach also offers a scalable solution. Other attempts at engineering enzymes have had a lower throughput and typically yielded orders of magnitude fewer enzymes. Amazing. Fucking amazing. Maybe, Jojo. Maybe you and Ghost are right and I'm wrong. If I have criticism of Gemini 2.5 Fast, it's that it inconsistently chooses when to display its sources. ChatGPT, on the other hand, has a dedicated search button that serves as a universal request for sources. Have you tried adjusting your prompt? Have you tried having Gemini help you create, or ChatGPT create a prompt for you that reliably gets you the sources that you require? Is my question. Leaving aside the nationalist headline, U.S. extracts rare earths from hard drives, strikes blow to China's dominance. Microsoft and Western Digital's latest recycling pilot turns e-waste into a weapons-grade strategy. Okay. Raw earths. Weapons-grade strategy for a country caught in a tech trade war. Caught, as if by magic, as if the United States was just walking along, minding its own business, and it got caught in a trade war. What up, James? With rare earth exports caught in the crossfire of rising U.S.-China tariffs, the global tech and defense industries are bracing for supply disruptions. On April 4th, China imposed new restrictions on seven critical rare earth elements and magnets, requiring export licenses and delaying outbound shipments. The move came in direct response to U.S. tariffs of up to 145% and has shaken markets reliant on these strategic materials. The tariffs on China have since then shot up to an astonishing 245%. More than half of the United States' supply of critical minerals currently comes from China. Now, a domestic recycling initiative may offer a way out of this dependency by turning discarded data center hardware into a reliable, eco-friendly source of rare earths and valuable metals. What has happened, right? How do you incentivize the behavior? This situation may lead to it being more cost effective to actually recycling e-waste as opposed to just burying it in landfills, right? The behavior has been incentivized. No one needs a chiropractor unless you want a non-zero chance of accidentally breaking your prompt's neck. Oh, you're talking, yeah. Yeah. I'm not getting into the whole chiropractor argument. I suppose I could do that, but should that be necessary for a quick web query? What do you want me to tell you? If it's necessary to get the results you want, then it's necessary, right? If you don't think it should be necessary, well, that's fair. But how does that actually affect whether or not it's necessary? I don't think it's necessary that any of y'all should have to go to work in order to get food tomorrow. But currently, that's what we have to do. So we change the underlying thing, then it's still required that someone has to go to work tomorrow, or wherever you get resources from. Incentivization is going to be the capitalist one of increasing the price for the end user product. No, the incentivization is that it's actually cheaper to do the recycling to get the rare earth metals rather than import new rare earth metals at 245% tariff. That's the incentivization. In a first of its kind pilot, Western Digital, Microsoft, Critical Materials Recycling, and Pedal Point Recycling processed nearly 50,000 pounds of decommissioned hard drives and server hardware. Using a new acid-free chemical method, the team extracted rare earth elements like neodymium, praseodymium, and dysprosium, as well as high purity gold, copper, aluminum, and steel. The recycled materials are already feeding back into supply chains, supporting electric vehicles, wind energy, and next generation electronics. The pilot reached a 90% recovery rate for rare earths and base metals, along with 80% total material recovery by mass. This initiative sets a new standard for end-of-life data storage management. This project is more than a milestone. It's a model for sustainable progress in critical materials recovery. There you are. Crash mining. Yes, Sean. Yes, 100%. 100%. Not only like from the thing about e-waste, but the idea that for example, right? I don't know if this is going to be the wave of the future, but this is an example of a thing, right? So a while back we looked at a article where they were taking plastic and running it through a process that converted the plastic into carbon suitable for like carbon nanotubes and hydrogen suitable for like hydrogen fuel cells. Right? Once the financial incentive is there, people are going to be mining the garbage for the plastic. right? So, yes, we got fucked on the recycling deal. And yes, what they're doing is they're packaging it up and they're sending it to other countries. And then those countries are sending it back and then it's going into landfill or such other shenanigans like that. But once you get the financial incentive in the right spot under capitalism, supposing nothing else changes, eventually you just have to hit that inflection point where it's cost effective to mine that garbage and turn it into something that has utility. What you're saying is the chiropractor making adjustments on my prompts gives me a non-zero chance of breaking the internet. Okay. If that's what I'm saying, then sure. 245% is in fact your own country's tariffs and nothing to do with the rest of the world. Yes. But that's what I'm talking about, Cosmic. I'm talking about why this is cost effective. Is because this is the United States who needs the rare earth elements. So in order to get those rare earth elements, it's 245% tariff or it's recycling. All right, you don't have to get all pedantic and logical. I will include something in my saved info that says to search the web with every prompt. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know. China said, fuck you, America, on our recycling either in Trump's first term or when COVID hit. Yeah. I mean, there is, and it's not just these particular dipshits, Textilian. We have all kinds of dipshits where people have a weird America-centric view of the world, right? And they Dojo Cosmic uses a speech to text, and sometimes like my voice gets caught in it, and also sometimes it doesn't hear what Cosmic is actually trying to say. So sometimes you have to interpret the words under those conditions. Make sense? Though the United States has a lot of military and economic power, the United States is currently at least the reserve currency of the world, etc., etc. This does not mean that other countries don't have agency. And a lot of people seem to think that the United States just want and do, and everyone else just has to do what they say, or like every political or economic change in the world is somehow something the United States did, as opposed to just being a complex system that involves multiple parties operating under the current conditions, right? Your capital is longing also says that from those resources you have to produce products which you export to the rest of the world. The price of creating those exports is going to be astronomical. You're making an assumption. You're making an assumption. You're making a few assumptions. One of the assumptions is that the products that the United States would be making under these conditions would be for export as opposed to local use. The other assumption that you're making is that there aren't other cost cutting measures that can and will be taken, i.e., fully automated factories, right? Which we have demonstrated already exist in other parts of the world and will probably exist in the United States. Like the idea of re-onshoring manufacturing to the United States from around the world relies on just having a factory here that can produce things. It does not presuppose, and none of the actual things that happen require getting people jobs, because Americans are still an expensive workforce when you consider them globally, right? And your options are either, Americans should be a cheaper workforce in order to get those jobs back, because that's why the jobs went away. The jobs went away because the workforce was cheaper. The capitalists moved their company to the place where the workforce was cheaper. That's it. That's it. And unless you want to compete with them on that level, the manufacturing jobs can't come back here unless the workforce cost is comparable or less than the workforce cost in other places. And you know what that means? Robots. Automation. It doesn't mean you're getting your job back. Right. And what I'm saying is that it's the automation that is going to offset that thing. Everything I just said. If necessary, hit rewind, listen to it again. If you depreciate the value of the dollar enough, American workforce costs will start to more align with Vietnam. Yes, which is also a claimed goal, or at least that's part of the thing, is the idea that you can, in spite of all logic, all economic logic so far, which is not to say that it's wrong, it's just in spite of all economic logic so far, they are attempting to maintain the dollar as the reserve currency and depreciate it enough where the workforce costs can align with cheaper workforces around the world, and not wreck the whole game while they're at it. All right, couple of MarkTech posts, Jim Jams I want to look at. Meta AI introduces collaborative reasoner, or Coral, an AI framework specifically designed to evaluate and enhance collaborative reasoning skills in LLMs. Minicon. With all due respect, and I do mean all due respect. Large language models have demonstrated remarkable capabilities in single agent tasks such as question answering and structured reasoning. However, the ability to reason collaboratively, where multiple agents interact, disagree, and align on solutions, remains underdeveloped. This form of interaction is central to many human tasks, from academic collaboration to decision making in professional contexts. Yet, most LLM training pipelines and benchmarks focus on isolated single turn outputs, overlooking the social dimensions of problem solving, such as assertiveness, perspective taking, and persuasion. One primary challenge in advancing collaborative capabilities is the lack of scalable, high quality, multi turn dialogue datasets designed for reasoning tasks. To address this limitation, Meta AI introduces Collaborative Reasoner, or Coral, a framework specifically designed to evaluate and enhance collaborative reasoning skills in LLMs. Coral reformulates traditional reasoning problems into multi agent, multi turn tasks where two agents must not only solve a problem but reach consensus through natural conversation. Gorgeous, right? There's a sign on the door that I am anti hierarchy and pro consensus democracy. They're building that into the AI. I wonder why. I wonder if there are advantages. Holy shit. Republicans are working on bringing work back to the U.S. How long have they been leading on not increasing? What's the FMW? Oh, the minimum wage. Yeah, yeah. Must be all that misinfo on Facebook and Insta. there's no there's no misinfo on Facebook and Insta. That's totally definitely a baby fighting a chicken. It absolutely happened. So this is cool. This is cool. Collaborative Reasoner provides a structured and scalable pathway to evaluate and improve multi agent reasoning in language models. Through synthetic self dialogue and targeted social metrics, Meta AI presents a novel approach to cultivating LLMs capable of effective collaboration. The integration of Coral with the Matrix. We're getting a crossover between The Walking Dead and The Matrix. That's fun. Joke. The integration of Coral with the Matrix infrastructure further enables reproducible and large-scale experimentation. The Matrix infrastructure. They did capitalize it, though. They did capitalize it. Here it is. To support data generation at scale, Meta introduces Matrix, a high performance serving framework. The AI is now serving. Matrix supports a variety of backends, employs gRPC for efficient networking, and integrates with Slurm and Ray for large scale orchestration. Y'all are weird. Empirical comparisons show that Matrix achieves up to 1.87x higher throughput than comparable systems like Hugging Face's LLM Swarm, making it suitable for high volume conversational training. For sure, for sure. Federal minimum wage. Yeah. It took me a second. Do you think that the average American citizen has any concept of how the world in general perceives the USA now? I don't think anyone, like, I think it's really easy to answer your question, no. No. Most Americans' perception of how the world perceives America is based on their ideological position and has little to do with any evidence. They don't seek evidence. They assume that, and again, it goes back. Remember that thing I said earlier about how a lot of Americans tend to have a very American centric point of view of the world, and this is regardless of your political ideology or anything else, right? That is part of this, right? You have your ideological position, which informs your perception of what you believe because you haven't sought out the evidence to support it. You believe that the world feels this way about stuff, right? For example, on the Fox Newses and the conservative roundtables, they think that, or they claim that, American strength is showing people how, and they respect us again, and yada yada yada, right? And then there is another perception among let's say, the opposite ideological position where, oh, everyone, hates the United States and so on and so forth. the truth is in the middle. Not everyone hates the United States. There are countries that are upset right now because the United States was providing them with a particular material, um, you know, supply of something that was, that they were depending on, right? Whether it's in the the financial sense, or it's US aid, or any number of things, even military support, right? You appreciate the United States military support when the people over there who don't like you and you don't like them, they now, right, knowing that you don't have that US military support, maybe they want to do a thing now, and that's a problem for everyone involved, right? This is not saying that I want the United States doing military shit around the world. I'm saying this is a practical understanding of the way that the world like functions, right? Realistically. Anyways, LLMs can think while idle. Researchers from Letta and UC Berkeley introduced sleep time compute to slash inference costs and boost accuracy without sacrificing latency. Oh, hey, Florida. Like, I mean, if you want to push me on the thing, I'll, you know, I don't, I don't hate Florida. I don't hate Texas. I don't hate any. There's a bunch of regular ass folks who live in a place where people are running shit in a particular way, and I disagree with the way that those people are running shit. You want to talk about, like, their governors, or their state legislatures and stuff like that? Yeah, I got beef with those people because I think they're fucking up. But your average, even someone who is like up to their eyeballs in some bullshit, they're like, they didn't just get there like out of nowhere. Somebody was talking something, um I can't remember who it was, but they were talking something about how, like, folks around the world are just regular folks, and if you took those regular folks, those children, and you dropped them into an American school, and they had the language and capacity to, understand what they were being taught, then they would end up just, like us, right? Which is true, right? You, whoever you are, have a very particular um learning, and let's call it a mental evolutional process that ended up from wherever you started to where you are now, right? Had you grown up in the wrong space at the wrong time in the wrong place, you could have ended up with a completely different set of ideals, right? Because your environment dictates a lot of the things that you believe in. And if you weren't educated in the things that you need to know in order to get out the other side of that, and you, for whatever reason, don't seek those educational opportunities, then you end up thinking in a particular kind of way. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Minnie. What up, man? You can agree with one side or the other side. I hope most people can agree the chaos over the last 4 months, good for no one other than a few billionaires. I mean, that's the thing, you know. They are playing the game to the best of their ability to try and win. What up, Classical Gas? What up, bro? Reviews the word wrong, which is judgmental. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Cosmic. I'm sorry. 40 years of war on education hasn't helped. It hasn't, right? And and certain realities that I find undesirable, but they exist within the particular system that we have, like Texas, right? The the thing about Texas and textbooks, how the influence of Texas on the textbook industry has an effect on textbooks as they exist around the country, right? Because of what you have to print and so on and so forth. I think national standards are good. I think, but whatever. We won't have to worry about that when the glaciers in Antarctica become icebergs. I again, there are a lot of regular ass folk in Florida that I do not wish anything negative to happen to. In the shorthand of dumping on states, I think most of us do mean it that way. The politicians in the place suck ass and fuck over the regular people living in those states and also for the rest of the country. And when it comes to some laws and how precedents have been undone rapidly lately. Agreed. I don't think that most people in their hearts are like, fuck Florida, right? Like the whole state, every single motherfucker in it, that kind of thing. I think we don't think about how the words that come out of our mouth can be heard by other people, right? Like, I am a Bills fan, right? I like the Buffalo Bills football team, right? There are people who very much identify because of the place that they live with the Buffalo Bills football team, and it becomes part of their personality and part of their behavior and everything else. And to say something negative about the Buffalo Bills football team is taken by them as a reflection on them, right? That you're saying something bad about them as opposed to just talking about the fucking football team, baby. Right? People who have an identity related to the place that they live, right? Like, I'm a New Yorker, so I feel this way about New York and about, the rest of the country, right? And jokingly, like I have it on the whole pizza thing, right? Buffalo pizza is the best pizza that there is, right? Western New York pizza, hands down, best pizza in the country. I don't want to hear your nonsense. But I'm memeing. I don't give a fuck. I don't actually give a fuck. But people like, Californians have views about New Yorkers, and New Yorkers have views about Floridians, and Northerners have views about Southerners, and vice versa. Y'all talk too slow, y'all talk too fast, all that kind of shit, right? But it's how does that come across when you're actually talking to people, especially when you have a platform? And then how does the perception lead into like when you say something like fuck Florida, right? And then there are people who like I hope the whole fucking state falls into the sea kind of thing, right? Like you can see the progression between those two thoughts when laid out like that. And the people in Florida, right? Especially like the people who you would identify as your ideological ally who just happen to fucking live in Florida, how do they feel when you say, fuck Florida, right? Well, I live in Florida, jackass. Now what? I can't afford to just move, Ben, right? So I'm stuck here and I'm trying to do what I can to make Florida better. But y'all are like, fuck Florida. I hope you get COVID and fucking die. Like, dude, what the fuck are you on about? It's called manifesting. Look it up. Imagine that, but in a country with 50 plus widely spoken language. Oh, yeah, no, homie. That's why I stay my ass in the United States when it comes to that kind of shit, because y'all got some. Your shit is complex as fuck, right? Talking with Arun, back in the day when we would talk about Indian politics, and it was just like, no, keep it coming because like this is some wild shit. Y'all got like 500 fucking political parties, and y'all are beefing over some shit, and I gotta understand it because what are you at 1.3 billion, um like like that many people have an influence on the world's behavior, right? The world's economy and everything else. And knowing about, what is going on over there is valuable. Yeah, no, it's wild. It's wild. Probably most people that say that are just saying it because it's the internet and don't. Yeah, no, and Ben, and that's the thing. It's just when I think, I don't know, right? And now, Cosmic, you could talk about my rose tinted glasses because I'm just out here trying to make the internet a better place, right? I don't start beef with nobody. I either, like want you to succeed or want you to fuck off, right? But I'm not, there's no time for beef, right? I want the internet to be a more thoughtful, insightful, um, kind place. There's a meme that like Northerners or New Yorkers or what have you are kind but not nice, and Southerners are nice but not kind. Um, and that's my thing. I'm not nice, right? I'm not really nice, but I am kind, right? Because I actually give a shit about people, right? I talk shit, I fuck with you and like that, but I want you to succeed. I want you to be better. I want everyone to be better. I want you to achieve your goals. I want you to do all that shit. What up, Holiday? Um, and like when I hear people do something along the lines of, "Hey, I just met you. This is crazy. Here's my number. Call me maybe." Thank you for the follow. When I hear some shit about like, "Oh, you wouldn't last in the Call of Duty fucking, uh, you know, whatever lobbies," it's like that's your goal. That's your goal. Your goal is to is for everybody to act like we're in a Call of Duty lobby. Really? From 2014? That's what you're on about? That's that you have the sum total of human knowledge, you have artificial intelligence tools, you have automation, you have just these massive capabilities, and your goal is to get to Call of Duty lobbies? Like that is what you want? Bro. Bro ham. I do not want Skynet. I did this just for you. You didn't do it for me. You did it for yourself. Always search the web with every prompt, including during reasoning steps. Prioritize accuracy over speed, even if it slows performance. You didn't do it for me, homie. You did it for yourself. What do we got? 3 minutes. Skip right to the conclusion. Key takeaways from the research. Thank you, Nikhil. Sleep time compute allows models to anticipate queries by reasoning on context before the query arrives. Accuracy improved by 13% on GSM symbolic and 18% on AIME datasets, when sleep time computation was scaled. Test time compute requirements decreased by approximately 5 times for similar performance levels. When sharing context across 10 related queries, the average query cost decreased by a factor of 2.5. Outperformed the pass at K strategy in parallel compute settings at equivalent budgets, more effective on predictable queries identified via log probability scoring, and diminishing returns noted beyond 5 parallel generation for sleep time compute. And this is the thing, like, fuck, takes a lot of energy, run a database. These motherfuckers are constantly working to make their shit more efficient. Constantly. Lois has called me out for coming in hot. I appreciate that. The internet would be nicer if people just had a modicum of introspection before posting. Also, I need to go to the doctor because I have blood in my semen and I'm wondering if it might be a symptom of my hernia. Yes, blood anywhere where it doesn't belong is bad. Go see the doctor, please and thank you. Also, I appreciate that. The previous part, not the blood in the semen. I'm guilty of saying, joking about Florida from time to time. I don't wish anything bad on them, of course, other than certain representatives that I wish would go away. I even have family there. Hey, Old Lobster hit level 20. Look at that. Look at that. Exclamation point mushroom. Come along, join the fun. We got mushroom games to play. Yeah. And it's just, that's it, Ben. And like, I'm not asking anybody to change their behavior, right? That's entirely up to you, right? Not even Michael. That's why I'm clear. You know, if you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You're a being with agency on this planet. I am not here to tell you how to be. I'm just saying align your goals and your actions. Right? Align your goals and your actions for best outcome. Okay? You are getting beamed over to the depths now. Ready, steady, go. You need to act like you are stupid if you desire to be treated as an equal online. What up, Walking Stick Library? Yeah, so I appreciate y'all. I had a wonderful time. I hope you did too. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern to do more news articles. Subscribe to the Substack, exclamation point mushroom. Help me out, like, by using some of your idle phone time to get me some additional funds. I appreciate it very much. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. How do you achieve your goals with a minimum of friction and resistance? And in the meantime, drink your water, eat some food, take your meds if you forgot, and always remember that Shaggy loves you. So do I. Be great.